Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
And Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bet, take your profit. Find out how. Go to PropSwap.com and download the PropSwap app today. I'm Mike Gill. Adam Caplan is here from the Inside the Birds podcast. And he is at the Senior Bowl, checking out all the action down there. It's a big weekend for these guys. It's kind of the kickoff to the draft season, Adam. It's kind of, that first major event that draft season is officially here.
Mike, you're absolutely right. Yeah, this is my 19th Senior Bowl. In fact, I'll give you a little trivia question. My first one in 2002 happened to be one where a former player now is actually interviewing to be an NFL head coach.
Wow.
Can you guess who that player was in the 2002 Senior Bowl? That's how long it's been.
2002 draft class, you're saying?
Yep,
That would
correct.
be...
I don't want to give any hints because you'll get it.
Would that
I just
be,
gave you one.
was it an offensive or a defensive player? Was it like D'Amico Ryans?
No. All right, I'll give you an offensive player, but the fact that I said I gave you a hint already, you should figure out what that means.
Leftwich.
No.
Who is in the...
You're warm. You're warm. Man, you're really warm.
Mike Kafka? No, I'm just kidding.
Nope. You're no, he's too young. But this guy's been on television before. Do I have to? All right, I'll give it since you haven't got it. He has an Eagles tie.
He has an Eagles tie. I went with D'Amico Ryans earlier. Who is still? I'm trying to think of which teams are still hiring.
Okay, I'll give you one more. He was a quarterback.
He was a quarterback.
Yeah, Eagles tie, which means he played for the Eagles. Well, he definitely played for the Eagles. Yes, I had to think about that. Yeah, he definitely played.
We got Josh McCown.
You got
Josh McCown.
Got it. Boom.
Nice.
2002 Senior Bowl, man. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's an impressively long time to be down there, but it shows that this thing is obviously something, in a world, Adam, where things evolve and things go away and things kind of change. This is still something that is very, very valued by these NFL GMs and front offices.
Oh, no doubt, Mike. Anywhere from 35 to 40% of those players wind up making rosters over a series of years, and some become, when I say 35 to 40%, a lot of those guys actually wind up being key contributors, and then maybe over 60% wind up making rosters over a series of years. So, yeah, it definitely is very important. We know the Eagles' history, going back to Broderick Bunkley, Brandon Graham. We get that Danny Watkins didn't work out, but there's a list of players that, in fact, I remember seeing Connor Barwin there, wound up being drafted by the Texans, but Connor Barwin went down as a tight end / linebacker, and he moved to defensive end there at the Senior Bowl. So, and Antoine Randall, I don't know if you remember this, he went there in 02 or 03. He was a quarterback at IU. He had very little chance of being drafted, maybe a 6th or 7th round pick. He moved to slot receiver. No one could cover him. He wound up being a 2nd round pick for the Steelers.
Yeah, it's definitely, I read something. I don't know. I can't remember where I saw this earlier in the week, but that basically Roseman saw Smith at the Senior Bowl last year and said Smith he basically fell in love with Smith from watching him at the Senior Bowl. Because people don't understand really sometimes, Adam, the practices are more meaningful than the game tomorrow.
Oh, 100%. The game is on Saturday. Yes, it is. In fact, today, all they had is a walkthrough. Thursday was a light practice indoors. The two important practices are Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesdays, there's a picture of me. It's funny. Our buddy John Hansen took me of holding an umbrella. John came down for the first time. I know he enjoyed it. He knows the Bo Melton family. Mm-hmm. Bo Melton's a player from Rutgers, and who had a good week, by the way, as a slot receiver, and it also lined up on the outside. But, yeah, it's terrible for the weather. It rained all day Wednesday. They move Thursdays indoors, but yeah, Tuesday and Wednesdays are the two important practices because those are the most competitive ones, and you don't want to overrate it. The Eagles overrated the Danny Watkins draft in 11. That's why they missed. It's only 3 days of practice too that really matter. The problem with the game is coaches tell me there's sometimes even first round picks go like Joe Flacco. I remember he was the third guy in. He just didn't get enough practice. He didn't get enough playing time. So you don't want to overrate what you see, but it's really a practice where you get the most reps.
By the way, that was Alex Marvez who tweeted this out. He said, "For what it's worth, the Senior Bowl is where Howie Roseman told me the Eagles became fully sold on Devontae Smith in 2021.
Cool.
And obviously the Eagles nailed that pick."
And I saw Alex there. Yeah, he and I had a beer together. Yeah, he's the greatest. A good friend of mine.
So, so Howie went to the Senior Bowl and said, hey, this is the guy that we're sold on. So you can make a breakdown here. What are some of the things, Adam, that you're down there for and that you are checking out and taking notes of? And, there's a lot of people down there. You're probably hearing some good stuff.
Yeah, so the kind of things that I'm looking for are generally quarterback related, because it is probably, in my career, the most wide open that the quarterback position is for the draft. I've never seen anything like this. There's really no consensus, number one. I mean, I know a lot of people like Jeff Mosher and I are saying it's probably Kenny Pickett if you had a draft today, but that's no lock. Matt Corral, who's a very highly thought of quarterback. Carson Strong from Nevada, who's got, unfortunately, a right knee issue, which may drop him down a couple rounds. We'll know more on him, but he had a great week. The wild card for this is Malik Willis out of Liberty, who's, I understand he's the guy that needs a lot of work. He's more of a developmental quarterback for down the line, but he's got great tools. He's by the way, I know people are comparing him to Jalen Hurts. He is way more gifted than Jalen Hurts. It's not even close. I mean, this kid can make throws that Hurts would never dream of. Hurts is, and they both run. They're both not the biggest guys in the world. Malik Willis barely over 6 feet, but he's got a rocket arm. But he's a guy that needs to play with more discipline in the pocket. He's a guy who's, you're just hoping by year 2 he could contribute, maybe be starter year 3. But the fact of the matter is, it's been a good week because, again, it's wide open. And this, by the way, Mike, might be a reason why the Eagles went out in the season. Not that they're not going to draft one or add one, they will. But I just don't see this being a great year for the quarterback position.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in the same camp. There's not that guy, but, I mean, hey, if you're down there watching, could you fall in love with a guy? This is the time where you start to hear, hey, so-and-so's moving up because of the showing he had at the draft ball, at the Senior Bowl. Adam, which of those quarterbacks might be the guy at the end of this week that you're going to hear is shooting up?
Malik Willis. Now, I don't know what round he's going to go in. My guess would be a third, but I really don't know yet. He doesn't play in the greatest program. I know our friend Bill Polian told me that you got to be careful about level competition. It's really not that big of a deal. Bill told me that he put that way down the list of intangibles when he grades. It's more about the skill set, where the kid is in maturity level, how he's been coached. See, at Liberty, usually the smaller schools are not they're not as well coached as the top programs, but nevertheless, he's got a lot of ability. Carson Strong has by far the strongest arm this week in Mobile, but he's got a right knee issue. He had 2 surgeries we know over the last year. He may have had more over his football playing career. It's going to come down to medical for him if he doesn't go in the first round. Kenny Pickett. Here's the thing on Pickett, Mike. If you're looking to be well by arm strength, he's not going to be your guy. If you're looking for a guy to process, get out of his hands quickly to the pass targets, he's smart. He's played in a pro system, and he's pretty athletic. He's going in the first round. I just can't tell you how high. Desmond Ritter's helped himself out of Cincinnati. Still think he'll be a third-round pick. You're going to hear about Bailey Zappi, who's put up 1 million yards in 2 different programs. He's a processor. He's not going to wire you his arm strength. He's probably going to be a third-round pick. Tim Howell's a pretty athletic guy, not real tall, out of UNC, who I like. Probably a second or third-round pick, and Malik Willis is sort of the wild card out of that group.
Adam Caplan's at the Senior Bowl from Inside the Birds podcast and InsideTheBirds.com. Adam, Doug Pederson, Jacksonville. Late last night, 11:30, 11:45, it's announced he's going to Jacksonville. Is this a good fit for Doug?
It is. It is in that they have a quarterback. That's huge. Okay, Trevor Lawrence is a very gifted player, first pick overall last year. I know he didn't play well, but he didn't have a lot of help. Doug will be the guy who's going to have to redevelop him. There's obviously going to be a new offense. He's got to develop him. That's why he's there. It's a big reason why. Plus, he's a Super Bowl winner. We'll see who's on his staff. I have a pretty good hunch that Press Taylor will join him. Whether it's he's an offense coordinator or having a high-ranking job on the staff, I expect him to join him. I reported earlier that Andrew Briner, who was on the Eagles staff as a offensive assistant a couple years ago on Doug's last staff, he's under consideration to be the quarterback's coach, I'm told. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, Doug, one of the things that doomed him, let's call it like it is, one of the things that doomed him was his coaching staff. That I know the ownership was not happy with, there were a couple of people with the Eagles who were not happy with the staff in the end. So we'll see what happens. But Doug's a really good coach. Got to put together a good staff, and they'll have a chance to win. And they've got a lot of cap space and a lot of picks.
You are in a place where there are a lot of NFL decision makers. What is the conversation about this Brian Flores lawsuit this week?
Going to shake things up. I've heard from people, a lot of coaches in particular. One hand, I think it's good for the league based on people I've spoken with in that, yes, they're being sued, but what I'm talking about with the Rooney Rule, which is just not working, because I've given this example, and I think it's really true. So last year, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, was 100% going to hire Urban Meyer. Now, obviously, it turned out to be a bad mistake. He fired him before his first season was over, but he was going to hire him. But even though he still had to comply with the Rooney Rule, by rule, for GM jobs and head coaching jobs, you must interview 2 minority candidates, even though he knew he was going to hire. And this is the problem with it. So they've got to figure out a way. If a team says, listen, this is who we want to hire, do we need to really go through the Rooney Rule? See, this is where the league is in a tough spot. It's not their fault. They're trying to do the right thing.
Right.
But how do you tell an owner, Mike, that he can't hire somebody?
It's the ultimate situation where you have the NFL can't tell the individual teams how to run their teams. And you brought up a point that I brought up the other day. Many times when you fire a guy, you've made the decision to fire a guy, and if you're good at your job, you already have candidates in your mind that you want to take. The reason I'm comfortable firing you is because there's someone I'm excited about to replace you.
Right. Well, yes. And it's funny. I remember I've talked to GMs before that they have the ready list if they wind up firing their head coach.
Yeah.
It is actually true. I'm glad that's a great point, Mike. Jeff and I have not really talked about on our show, but it's absolutely true. They've almost all of them, when it starts not going well, they get their list together and they put it in a drawer. If they have to take, there's nothing really wrong with that. I know some people think it's underhanded. They're just, if they think their coach is struggling, you don't want to wait till the end.
Right.
Publicly, they'll never admit it, but obviously privately they do. And that's exactly what happened.
It's a great time of year, draft season, free agency, March 16th. So we are closing in on about a month and a half till NFL free agency. We'll be all over it here for Football at 4, the draft at Caplan NFL. To get you ready for the Senior Bowl this weekend. Plenty of coverage from down there. And Inside the Birds and the Inside the Birds podcast with plenty Eagles offseason news. All right, Adam, enjoy the rest of your where are you, in Mobile?
I'm actually back in my home office. I got back last night.
Oh, you left. You're back here now. Okay.
Yeah. So I had a great week, although it rained like crazy. It always does in Mobile. What are you going to do?
Well, we'll break it all down next week, my man.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, Adam Caplan here on the Sports Bash Live 97.3 ESPN.